In the early 20th century, the world was a tinderbox of political tensions, imperial ambitions, and volatile alliances, just waiting for a spark to ignite a global inferno. That spark came on a warm summer day in 1914 on the cobblestone streets of Sarajevo, when the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, was assassinated. This single event, seemingly local in nature, unraveled a delicate web of international politics and set the stage for World War I, a conflict that would reshape the world in unimaginable ways. But how did we get to that fateful moment, and why did the assassination of one man plunge the globe into war? Let's dive into the intricate story of ambition, nationalism, and miscalculation that culminated in the shot that changed the world. To understand the magnitude of what happened on June 28, 1914, we first need to step back and look at the political landscape of Europe in the early 20th century. The Austro-Hungarian Empire was a sprawling, multi-ethnic empire ruled by Emperor Franz Joseph I Ferdinand. It was a complex patchwork of cultures and nationalities: Slavs, Hungarians, Germans, Italians, all united under a monarchy that struggled to keep the peace among its diverse populations. Among these groups, nationalist movements were gaining momentum, particularly among the Slavic peoples, many of whom sought independence or unification with neighboring Serbia, a small but fiercely independent Slavic state. Serbia, fresh from victories in the Balkan Wars, had become a beacon for Slavic nationalism, and its ambitions clashed directly with Austria-Hungary's desire to maintain its territorial integrity. Adding fuel to the fire was Russia, which saw itself as the protector of Slavic nations and had its own designs on the Balkans. Austria-Hungary, meanwhile, was aligned with Germany, creating a precarious balance of power between two competing blocs. The region was often referred to as the powder keg of Europe, for a good reason. Enter Archduke Franz Ferdinand. As the nephew of Emperor Franz Joseph, and heir apparent to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Franz Ferdinand was not a universally beloved figure. He was known for his conservative views and his contentious marriage to Sophie Chotek, a woman of lesser nobility, which caused scandal within the royal court. Despite these controversies, Franz Ferdinand held strong views on reforming the empire. He advocated for granting more autonomy to the Slavic regions, a position that made him a target for nationalist groups who wanted complete independence, not compromise. June 28, 1914, was a significant date for more than one reason. It marked the anniversary of the Battle of Kosovo in 1389, a symbolic event for Serbian nationalism. On this emotionally charged day, Franz Ferdinand and Sophie visited Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina, a territory annexed by Austria-Hungary in 1908, much to Serbia's outrage. The visit was meant to demonstrate Austro-Hungarian authority, but it was seen as a provocative act by many in the region, particularly a secret society known as the Black Hand. The Black Hand was a shadowy Serbian nationalist group dedicated to undermining Austro-Hungarian rule and uniting all South Slavs into a single state. Among their ranks was a young man named Gavrilo Princip, a 19-year-old Bosnian Serb whose life had been shaped by poverty, illness, and a deep hatred for the Austro-Hungarian regime. Princip and his fellow conspirators saw Franz Ferdinand's visit as an opportunity to strike a blow against their oppressors. The assassination plot was anything but sophisticated. The conspirators armed themselves with pistols, bombs, and cyanide capsules, planning to take their own lives after completing the mission. They stationed themselves along the motorcade route, hoping to catch the Archduke and his wife as they traveled through Sarajevo. What followed was a series of almost comical missteps that could have easily derailed the plan. As the motorcade made its way through the city, one conspirator hurled a bomb at the Archduke's car, only to see it bounce off the vehicle and explode behind them, injuring bystanders instead. Shaken but unharmed, Franz Ferdinand insisted on continuing with his visit. Meanwhile, the other would-be assassins hesitated, paralyzed by nerves or confusion, allowing the motorcade to pass without incident. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new daily videos. It was only later, as the Archduke's car took an unplanned detour, that fate, or perhaps sheer bad luck, intervened. Gavrilo Princip, who had given up and gone to a nearby cafe, suddenly found himself face to face with his target. Seizing the opportunity, he stepped forward and fired 2 shots at close range. One bullet struck Sophie, killing her instantly. The other hit Franz Ferdinand, who reportedly managed to utter, "Sophie, don't die. Stay alive for our children," before succumbing to his wounds. The assassination sent shockwaves across Europe. In Vienna, the Austro-Hungarian leadership saw this as a direct challenge to their authority and immediately suspected Serbian involvement. The Black Hand's connections to elements within the Serbian government were murky but undeniable, and Austria-Hungary demanded swift and severe retribution. What followed was a month of escalating tensions, known as the July Crisis. Austria-Hungary, backed by its ally Germany, issued an ultimatum to Serbia with demands so harsh they were designed to be rejected. Serbia, however, surprised everyone by agreeing to most of the terms, but objecting to a few that infringed on its sovereignty. This partial acceptance wasn't enough for Austria-Hungary, which declared war on Serbia on July 28, 1914. At this point, the system of alliances that had kept Europe in a precarious balance for decades began to unravel. Russia, bound by its ties to Serbia, mobilized its forces against Austria-Hungary. Germany, seeing Russian mobilization as a threat, declared war on Russia and, shortly thereafter, on Russia's ally, France. When German troops marched through Belgium to attack France, Britain, honoring its commitment to Belgian neutrality, declared war on Germany. Within weeks, what had started as a regional conflict in the Balkans exploded into a full-scale global war. The assassination of Franz Ferdinand had set off a chain reaction, with each nation's actions tied to the perceived threats and obligations of its alliances. The war that followed was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Over 4 years, it claimed the lives of more than 16 million people and left entire nations devastated. It ended with the Treaty of Versailles, a settlement that many historians believe sowed the seeds for yet another catastrophic conflict 2 decades later. But at the heart of it all remains the question: was the assassination of Franz Ferdinand truly the cause of World War I, or merely the catalyst? While the Archduke's death undoubtedly triggered the series of events that led to war, the underlying causes, nationalism, imperial rivalry, and a fragile system of alliances, had been brewing for years. Some argue that even without the assassination, war was inevitable, while others point to the specific circumstances of that day in Sarajevo as the defining moment. As we reflect on this pivotal event, it's remarkable to consider how a single act of violence could have such far-reaching consequences. The story of Franz Ferdinand's assassination is a stark reminder of how fragile the threads of peace can be and how quickly they can unravel when tensions are left unresolved. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of history's most consequential moments. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more stories that shaped the world, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay curious.